So, Doc, I know that you don't have dinner, right? So the last meal for you is lunch, which is around 2 to 3 p.m., which you just mentioned. And I believe that's the toughest intermittent fasting you can do, which is not having your dinner. And that's why I chose this option of not having lunch, because I want to have something in my belly at around 6, 7 o'clock so that I can have a good sleep. I know my sleep actually gets disturbed if I don't have anything in the night. So really appreciate that you maintain that specific routine where you're not having dinner. So for lunch, what is that constitutes your lunch? What do you have for lunch?
That's a very, very good question. And for everybody who is watching, I do want to mention that this is a very, very good alternative that he just said. I have heard so many people, they get struggling with not eating after or like in the evening. They cannot imagine how they can go to bed and fall asleep and have energy for the entire evening. And so this is something I get the question all the time, and that's a great way of going around it. So he eats very early breakfast, and then he eats he still does a 12-hour fast. However, for me, I know it's very difficult, because when I come home, sometimes my daughter would be eating pizza and I'm across from her, and it needs an extreme amount of willpower of not eating that. But what I do is I eat a lot of good nutritious food. So what I do is I cannot live without eating rice. I have found a solution. So this is brown rice. I pre-cook this. These you can, they are just easy to cook. So I'll just cook them and the night before, and then I'll add that rice. And then what I do is I take the eggplant and I'll slice them, and in the oven I put some olive oil on them, and then I bake them, and I take these eggplants with me. The other thing that I do is I take the green peppers and I would grill it and keep them in the fridge. The same thing with the zucchini. So I would take the zucchini and then just a lot of these grilled vegetables. I also add onions to them. So I'll eat that rice and this, and then sometimes I will have a cabbage or something that I had cooked the night before, and I add a big amount of protein. So I am a pescatarian, you could say. I rarely eat meat, but I'm sure it's fine to eat meat. So around 2 or 3 o'clock is I eat a very big portion of this, at least like 4 to 5 ounces of this, and then I also add some lentils to my rice when I'm making the rice. So I'll add that, and then I also add what we call as avocado, and sometimes I freeze the guac in a store. That is an amazing amount of good fat. Avocados are the #1 plant food which can give you the amount of fat which is really good for you. It brings up the good cholesterol. It targets to get the LDL cholesterol get lowered. I cannot live without this. I literally have it sometimes even for breakfast. I would have avocado. I'll add it to my toast. So that's another option, for breakfast. I eat it for, of course, my lunch. I would take the guac and I'll eat carrots as a snack. This is an amazing food group which you cannot eat without. And if you like it, that's great. Since we are talking about this, and you mentioned that what do you do? So basically, this is a period of time where you are not eating from say 3 in the morning to the following day, and you still have to function. I mean, I work till 7:38 sometimes. So how do I go about doing that? I do drink coconut water. Now remember, not flavored. This is just organic coconut water. I do not add any sweetened coconut or flavored water. I do not add. I do drink a lot of water. I add mint to the leaves, which makes a beautiful flavor or texture to the water. I do not add anything which is processed into the water. And the other thing that I have not probably drank a lot, but I have seen a lot of people, they will drink and they actually tell me it's called the bulletproof coffee. So guess what? You are hungry. You are having this feeling that you are feeling a little lightheaded or dizzy. And this bulletproof coffee can literally be life-saving because you want to continue the fast. And in the beginning, when you're starting the fast, you are going to feel like, oh my God, I need some sort of calorie because your body needs it. Instead of stressing about it, think what you can do. So carbs are out of the picture, not going to give you too much calories either. You are putting protein out of the picture because you want all of those things to be not in that food. So you make a cup of coffee, and what you add is you add coconut cream into the coffee to make it having a little bit of high fat coffee. And what it does is that little bit of coconut fat or coconut milk, or it gives you that kick of fat. And just that bulletproof coffee, a lot of people, they add olive oil to the coffee. They will add, butter, things like that. It works for them. Yeah, I mean, and all over the internet, you will see that bulletproof coffee is probably the chosen food for a lot of people who are doing intermittent fasting. If you have a problem in going from 3 to the next morning, you need to look into that. And the other thing is bone broth, which I am not very much a lover of bone broth, but bone broth can be amazing. You can have as much bone broth you want. I don't mean like you're going to have cans and cans of bone broth, but you can definitely have a half a cup or a cup of bone broth when you are not fast. When you are on the fast, you can still eat these kinds of foods. And of course, I do enjoy my tea. I absolutely love all types of tea. So I'll drink that throughout the evening, sometimes when I'm doing things, and I still feel great by drinking that tea. I think we kind of touched base on pretty much all kind of foods, and you did mention that you eat some sort of a dessert at night after dinner, right? So what do you do?
After dinner, I have a sweet tooth like you, right? So to avoid the sugars, it's very important, as you had mentioned before, it's important to cut down on the sugar, especially during the night time. So, and whenever I'm having my meal. So I will supplement with yogurt, with a flavored yogurt. And I think we showed the Chobani brand. That's
right.
I also
the Greek yogurt.
Yeah, the Greek yogurt, right? So that's something which I'll eat. Or what we usually do is we'll have a cup of warm water, and me and my wife both, and we'll add some honey and some lime to it. And since you have that honey, which is again a very healthy sugar, if you drink that, it kind of cuts down on that sweet urge or the sweet tooth, and then it helps you to not having any sugar during the evening time. So that really helps.
That's super, because remember that lemon and honey is also the formula for cutting back on. It causes fat breakdown. When lemon juice is mixed with honey, we have seen that it causes something that it's very interesting, and I do want to mention this because without saying that, it's going to be difficult for you guys to understand why are we discussing about these food groups. So in studies that was done, they took a group of mice who were eating, say, 1400 calories of food. They were eating within 8 hours. And we had another group of mice, and I'm going to link down below the journal and the studies that was done. The other mice, they were eating this 1400 calories over a period of 24 hours. They were eating every few hours. They both had exact same calorie, same food. But they saw the mice who were eating for 8 hours and not eating for 16 hours lost a lot of weight. Whereas those mice eating the same calorie, but they actually either stayed at the same weight or they gained weight over time. So what I mean to say is your solution is not going to be eating 2500 calories in 8 hours. That's not your goal. Your goal is to eat whatever calories you usually would have eaten in that 8 hour and not eat for the rest of the day, but you do not want to add like a whole pizza which is like 2000 calories or a big bowl of pasta, and that cannot be a part of intermittent fasting. That's very important. So this study was definitely an eye opener for all of us. So eating the same calories, you can just eat over a small period of time. The body continues the autophagy process and is able, it also helps, the brain fogness, which people get after a little while, after like they're in their 50s or 60s, they get this brain fog. You are going to age, but the aging process is going to be a lot slower, because what intermittent fasting does, it increases the length of the chromosome. That's the only way you can increase the telomere length or the chromosome length, which makes you feel more energy, and it also makes you live longer and healthier way and not having chronic diseases to think about. I want to definitely thank you for coming today. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you that I know you sometimes have to travel as part of your work. So what do you do for like if you have to go out and eat in a restaurant? What do you do?
Try to maintain the same routine which I do at home, where I eat a very healthy breakfast. So usually all for your hotels, they would have a healthy breakfast, which we spoke about.
Right.
They would have eggs, they would have
excellent
toast, and so I would usually have my breakfast with a cup of coffee, and then I try to skip my lunch. I know your client is going out, you have to go out with your colleagues for lunch, but I usually avoid that. But if I have to really go out for lunch with my client, again I would prefer healthy food. I would order a chicken curry or a fish curry even in the restaurant, and I'll have it with a bowl of rice. And if I'm having lunch, I'll make sure that I skip my dinner. As I told you, it's very difficult, but sometimes one off is fine, and you should be able to kind of get through that. So usually I do that, and I'll try to maintain a healthy routine, healthy food, even if I'm outside.
Yeah.
So that's what I usually do. Like if you're going to an Italian restaurant, right, let's say, and you have to order some food, and I would prefer a pizza with, let's say, cauliflower base, right? If you know, it's very healthy. This is something which is available in Costco. Even at home, when when I feel like eating some outside food, I would probably go for that. A cauliflower base is very healthy. It's again, like you actually are cutting.
So you can buy that from the store? Like
the store.
Which store do you buy it?
Okay. Costco has it.
So supermarket we can buy it from.
Publix would also have it, but they usually.
I have heard about cauliflower rice, but cauliflower pizza, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
It's very healthy, and you could actually feel it. If you, I've eaten. I used to eat those pizzas, which is available. From any of the Domino's or Pizza Hut, and if you're eating a cauliflower based pizza, you'll feel much lighter. You don't feel like you've eaten a pizza. So I would usually go with 2 slices of that.
Right.
I have to eat, but that's a very healthy alternative if you really want to eat outside.
Absolutely. And like since I eat at 2 or 3 o'clock, so say I have to go to a dinner on Saturday. To someone's house, and I cannot say that no, I'm not going to go there, and nor can I say that I cannot be eating my dinner there. So those are not the options. So what I do is I tweak my plan for that day. So what I do is after I eat at 3 on Friday, I usually drink a little bit of a snack around say 6 or something, and then I don't eat till the very next day for lunch. So I'm still doing a significant amount of fast, and I usually have a light lunch and then go for dinner for that evening. So if that's something that you are looking for and you want a way out, that's a great idea as well. Thank you so much for coming and taking the time to share with us the tips, and we are going to definitely follow some of these things, and thank you again.